think about this. There has not been a president from New York State since all the way back in FDR days. That was 67 years ago. And if you're wondering if that's ever going to change, you may want to be paying attention to what a former governor has been saying recently. Andrew?
As long as we're presidents from New York, I don't know if we could call Hillary Clinton a New Yorker, but we're talking about Andrew Cuomo at this point, and the very popular 70% approval rating Andrew Cuomo. And the man doing the talking about him knows a lot about Andrew and about being talked up as a presidential candidate. Andrew's father, former Governor Mario Cuomo. The elder Cuomo recently held court at his 80th birthday party, and here's what he told the crowd of about 100 of the state's best connected political watchers, that his son Andrew may, quote, have an opportunity to serve at a higher level to serve the people of the United States. Also that Andrew is the best governor in modern times, and that I've seen this movie before, actually in this room at the New York State Capitol, where there's like a whole new deja vu going for me, Mario. So I know this play and I know how it turns out. Mario Cuomo, of course, was often talked about as a possible candidate for president in both 1988 and 1992, but never ran. As for Andrew Cuomo, he tried to walk back some of his father's talk earlier today.
Now, as a father talking about a son, right, so there's a certain amount, and I'm a father of 3 daughters, there's a certain amount of pride that you bring, and you may not always be fully objective when you're talking about your child. And that there was speculation that I should run for president as evidencing that I've done a good job, that the 18 months of performance has been so good that people are even talking about maybe I should run for president.
He tried. Now, Richard, you spoke about this, and you wrote about this. You know both men pretty well. I know a little bit from my time in Albany that the elder Cuomo obviously earned the nickname. Dominic, you covered it as well. Hamlet on the Hudson. He could never make up his mind. One day he wanted to run for president. One day he didn't. He gave a great commencement. It gave a great convention address that many of us remember. I think in San Francisco, right? And he could never pull the trigger on it.
Well,
his son has more naked ambition than
This is George
the dad.
Patton on the Hudson.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about being decisive here, and I think he is interested, and I think he is planning to run. I think there are lots of uncertainties. Will Hillary run? Will the second half of his first term be as good as the first half? He's an interesting guy. He has roots in Westchester. He's tough, and the really interesting thing about that story isn't that Mario said it. It's that someone in that group leaked it. There are no accidental.
100 people. Nobody, no 100 people in Albany can keep the
Those
secret.
100 people were all the loyal core. Yeah. If someone leaked it, they leaked it under instructions. Yeah. So that was not an accident. He's now creating that kind of stir. He's positioned to do it. Yeah. We can talk about his strengths and his weaknesses.
But as soon as that stir is created, doesn't that potentially harm his chances in Albany for getting sort of through the legislature unscathed? Wouldn't Republicans try to take shots at him?
You always think of yourself that you could be part of a
I look at New Jersey and Chris Christie. As soon as it became obvious that he had national intentions, it seemed like the Democrats all of a sudden started, objecting and raising a stink at every turn.
He made his deal with the Republicans on reapportionment. He got a lot of things he wanted. He did it skillfully. No one is going to throw a roadblock in his direction for that reason.
It's funny. We all know from over the years, I get to know Andrew pretty well. And he's a much different person than he used to be.
Yes.
Always, the nickname, some of which I can't say on TV for him, right? But he was not nepotism run wild here. He was the enforcer for the old man in the campaigns. But I think...
You think he's different now?
I think he was humbled through some of his personal challenges, and I think a little bit of humility went a long way for him. He still is the biggest control freak about when it comes to messaging,
Governor,
about what works. Exactly.
I didn't say it,
and
Governor.
He'll call you and make sure you won't repeat any of it over the air.
He will
All
call
that's
you.
true, but I do think he recharged a little bit after what he had to go through, and I think it made him better. If you think about when he first ran for governor and when he ended up losing to McCall, that's a different guy than it's in Albany right now. Don't you think?
I think he's polished his skills. I think that's much to his credit. I think he's been effective as a leader, but I don't think he's a remarkable. I don't think he's a remarkably decent person.
He's a new guy. He really is. Let's be honest about it. He's learned to put his temper in check. There was a time when he would call you up, and I can't repeat what he would say on the other end of the phone. No.
That's like a little news here.
But I will say this much. The nomination is his, Democratic nomination in 2016 if Hillary doesn't
There
run.
you go. I knew
If
was gonna
Hillary
get in there
runs,
somewhere.
it's bye-bye Andrew.
And I'll say the last thing. It's interesting, none of us talk about. I remember with the old man, when Mario, the idea of a guy with a name like Mario Cuomo, too many vowels to be considered president. We don't even talk about that.
But
now.
Andrew's the real
Obama at the
deal,
White House
and he
now.
can
That's
win.
a lot of fun.
He
There you
can
go.
win.